Hello friends, welcome back to my channel once again. I hope that you are in good health and spirit and must be doing great at your home. So, if you remember, I have started my channel keeping three things into the mind. The first point was regarding IELTS, learning each and everything about IELTS, what are my personal experiences and how I cracked that exam with good bands. The second thing which I had discussed with you was learning English language, be it the basic English or the intermediate level or the high level English required for various exams around the world. The third thing I spoke about job opportunities as a mechanical engineer. Since we have started the first topic and we had seen around 6 or 7 videos on that, in which we discussed about speaking module and how I got band 8 in speaking. So now I would like to start the another series which will help to understand the English language more well. You all know that for learning any language, it is highly imperative to have a good knowledge of its grammar. Grammar is nothing but the pillar to any language. If the grammar is strong, the language will be very beautiful and quite relevant whenever we speak or write or do whatever with that language. So it's very, very important that we must have a strong grip and hold on the grammar so as to crack all kinds of exam, because in the professional exam like IELTS, GRE, TOEFL and many more exams, grammar plays a very vital role. If you want to get the best of those exams, you must be very much accurate and perfect in your grammar skills. So keeping into that mind, I have decided to start the grammar series from today, and the first topic I have chosen tenses. Yes, my friend, if you are thorough enough, if you are strong in tenses, then you will definitely can hold a grip on the grammar. Apart from this, you will have some more other topics like active passive voice, all kinds of sentences, all kinds of noun, pronoun, conjunction, adjectives, verb, and there are a lot of things. But among all those things, tense plays a very important role. So it's very crucial for everyone to be thorough with this tense and get the best of the best results, whatever they desire for. So without wasting any time, let's start with the tenses. We must be very much familiar about all the structure of the tenses and how we have to apply them in our day-to-day use, and we'll discuss the structure straight away. It's very known to everyone that tenses are in three types: present tense, past tense, and future tense. Further, these three types are subdivided into 4 forms for each. For each present, past, and future, we have simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Moving on to the first type of tense, that is the present tense, and we will discuss the first form of the present tense, that is present simple or indefinite. So it's very easy as far as the structure is concerned. Let's move on to the general structure, that is the affirmative structure. The generic structure says it's subject plus verb 1 bracket s or es plus object. For example, he eats an apple, they play football. So I have written there s or es in the bracket. What does it mean? It can be clarified in the note segment. It says subject, if it is he, she, it, or any singular, you must always use s or es with the verb. Okay, my friend. So please take a note of that. Whenever you use the subject like he, she, it singular, and the following verb should be supported with s or es. If you forget to write, then your sentence will be grammatically wrong and it can reduce your marks. So I can say like he eats an apple, she plays football, it rains, and take any singular like table breaks. So for each of this kind, we can easily notice that there is a s or es in the last of the verb. Moving on to the negative structure, just have to add not and the primary verb as do or does. Let's make it clear with the example. He does not eat an apple. Okay, he is the subject here. We have chosen does. Why? As I discussed just before, that we must use s or es with the verb when the subject is he, she, it, or singular. So here the subject is he, that is why we have used does, and not is written in the short form and. So he doesn't eat an apple. Moving on to the second example for this, it's they don't play football. Okay, it means the subject here is not he, she, it, or singular anymore. It's other than that. That's why we did not use any s or es with the verb. Second thing you have to notice here is that he does not eat an apple. So does is one verb and eat is the other verb. Don't say like he does not eats an apple. Maybe in some time in hurry, if you don't get the structure right, it can make mistakes. So always remember, if there are two verbs in a sentence, then the first verb will be used with s or es in the end. The second verb will remain the same. Now moving on to the interrogative structure, have to put the main verb in the first place and subject will follow after them. So like, does she eat an apple? Do they play football? In the same way, don't write does she eats an apple. It's a very common mistake which almost all the people commit. So try not to get confused while using the s or es with the verb. It's very clear that only the first verb will be using s or es. The following second verb will not be having s or es in the end. So this is all about simple present or present indefinite. Now, I would like to take your notice toward the left side of the screen, letter which are mentioned in the bracket. So these letters can be easily recognized. Whoever knows Hindi very well. Now, let's see the Hindi translation of the first example. He eats an apple. It means वो apple खाता है. So in the end, if it's coming ta hai, ti hai, te hai, you can easily click into your mind that this sentence is going to be in the form of simple present. Make sure that when you say anything into your mind, what is the ending word? Check on those words. If it's coming what is mentioned in the bracket, then your tense will be simple present tense or present indefinite. Now, moving on to the second form of the present tense, that is present continuous tense. Let's see the structure. Subject plus is, am, are plus V1, that is verb first form, plus ing plus object. Let us go through the example. He is eating an apple. He is the subject here. Is, we chose is from ismr because for he, she, it, we use is. So he is, she is, it is. And verb is eat, and we have used ing. So eating is gerund. Actually, v1 plus ing is known as gerund. An apple, it's the object. Sometimes object cannot be there. In that case, your structure will also be correct. So no need to worry about whether the object is present or not. It depends upon the requirement. The second sentence, they are playing football. Now we have used the word are because it's a plural sense and we are denoting someone. So we use are for that. And if I'm saying something to myself, then we will use am. I am watching drama. If you're asked to make the negative, it's quite easy. We don't have to add anything here, just the word not. You can see the example. He is not eating an apple. They are not playing football. I'm not watching drama. In the interrogative structure, again, same like present tense, you have to put subject after the main verb. So is, am, are will be at the first position and subject will follow them and rest of the things remain the same. Like, is he eating an apple? Are they playing football? Am I watching drama? Right? So by this, you can easily recognize the present continuous. Now, moving on to the bracket part once again. If you can see on the left side, again, it's written raha hai, rahi hai, rahe hai. So if your Hindi sentence ends with these sound, make sure that your sentence should be in continuous. Like if we translate the example in Hindi, it's coming, he is eating an apple. वो सेब खा रहा है. They are playing football. वो लोग फुटबॉल खेल रहे हैं. And if you make something for she is writing a novel. वो एक novel लिख रही है. So in all these cases, it's coming रहा है, रही है, रहे हैं. We go on to the next form of the present tense, and it's present perfect. Let's go to the structure once again. The structure says subject plus has or have plus verb third form plus object if given It's okay, not given, no problem. Let's move on to the example for these. He has eaten an apple. He is the subject once again. We have chosen has. Why we chose that? It's written in the red one that he, she, it and singular use has, and for the rest use have. So he has eaten an apple. They have played football. If you are asked to make the negative for this, whole structure remains the same. Just use not after has or have. Like he has not eaten an apple. They have not played football. And if you're asked to make the interrogative for this, everything remains the same, just subject follows has or have. So has or have comes to the first place and subject will fall on the second place and verb 3 and object. Like has he eaten an apple? Have they played football? Now for my Indian students, again look into the letters written in the bracket. You can say chuka hai, chuki hai, chuke hai. It's very simple. If it's ending with these three words, like for example, he has eaten an apple. वो एक सेब खा चुकी है, चुका है और चुके हैं, then you can easily recognize the sentence is in present perfect and there will be no chance of making any kind of mistakes. So I'm telling you because this was the funda which we had used while we were learning in our school days. Okay, my friends, let's move on to the fourth and the last form of the present tense, that is present perfect continuous tense. Present perfect continuous tense is a very unique form of the tenses. It can be easily recognized two keywords. The first one is since, the other one is for. Just take your concentration to the left side of the screen. In the blue letter, you can see I have written since and for. Please read what I have written. Exact point of time, like since 10 a.m., since Monday, etc. And for a period of time which is not exactly explained, for like 2 hours, for 4 days. So what does it mean? If you know about the time bond, if it is in a perfect exact way, like when did you start playing? Okay, I have been playing since 10 a.m. So you are clearly mentioning the exact time, exact point of time there. So that will be coming with since. If the sentence contains an indefinite, I mean, like it's not accurate value of the time. Like, okay, I don't remember when I started playing, but on an average, I think that I have been playing for like 4 hours. Okay, so 4 hours. I have been thinking about my project for 3 days. Which 3 days we don't know. Which 4 hours we don't know. So that's why we will use for in that kind of sentences. But if you have an exact point of time, we will use since. Now move on to the general structure. It says subject plus has or have plus been. So you have to remember must add been here because this is the unique word which is not used in any of the form except this. So first one you have to recognize from since and for. The second one you have to keep into the mind the word been plus v1 plus ing gerund again plus since and for as I discussed plus time. Time must be given there because without time you cannot use since or for. It will be incomplete. So let's take an example. He has been cooking since 1 a.m. Whenever you have the time frame to say about something, when a sentence contains the time frame, must use since. And if the time frame is not definite, is not accurate, use for. Like they have been playing for 2 hours. Which 2 hours? We don't know. Moving on to the negative structure, you can easily make the negative structure with the help of word not. Everything remains the same. Just add the word not after has or have. He has not been cooking since 1 a.m. They have not been playing for 2 hours. And you can make any sentence. And for interrogative, subject will take the second position once again, and has and have will go to the first position. Rest of the things remain the same, like has he been cooking since 1 a.m.? If my mom asks to me that, yeah, mom, he has been cooking since 1 a.m. Have they been playing for 2 hours? Yeah, they have been playing for 2 hours. So in that way, you can easily memorize each and everything. And for my Indian students, the wording will remain the same as of continuous only. Raha hai, rahi hai, rahe hai. But the main punch point, as I mentioned in the beginning, you have to recognize the sentence with the help of since or for and the time duration. Present perfect continuous tense has a special and unique feature that it comes with since or for and with time. This is the best way to recognize this sentence. So with this, we come to the end of present tense and we have seen all four forms of present tense. Now we will move on to the past tense and we will see all the four tense forms there as well. There are some kinds of confusion sometimes when the use of different kinds of verbs come into place. In that case, you have to be very alert and attentive that which is the correct form of the tense should be used if the verbs of senses, feeling, or something like believe, belong, contain comes. We will see it one by one. For the first one, if you can see there, the verb of senses such as see, hear, smell, taste. If these words come, do not make the sentence in present continuous. It's incorrect. In our colloquial language style, when we speak to someone in informal way, we use this kind of words. But grammatically, it's not correct. You can see the example there on the right hand side. The chocolate tastes delicious. Okay, so it is the correct form. You cannot use the chocolate is tasting delicious. Okay, in the same way, verbs of feelings such as like, fear, love, or hate. For example, if you see there, care is also a verb for feeling. If you write Raju cares about his friend, then it will be correct. But if you write Raju is caring, this is totally wrong as per the grammar rule. In the same way, for verbs like believe, agree, disagree, differ, think, trust, own, belong, possess, has, have, cost, contain, seem, appear, resemble. In all these cases, I have given you these examples which you can go through. Try to remember these important verbs of different kinds which are especially designed to be used in the simple present but not in the present continuous. Now we shall move forward to the past tense form of the past tense, that is past simple or past indefinite. The general structure says subject plus V2 means verb second form plus object optional. Example is very simple. He ate an apple. He is subject again. Ate is the second form of the verb eat and object is an apple. I would like to suggest you to make columns V1, V2, V3 and put all the form of the verbs because that is very important for your perfect also because you use V3 in the perfect, right? And we use V1 in the simple present. So if you are not thorough with all these three forms of the verb, then it will also reduce your marks because the sentence though will be structurally correct, but since it will have a wrong form of the verb, it can create a problem for you. My dear students, it's highly imperative for you all to make a column of these three form of verbs. So moving on to the negative structure, we will use did, not here. Present tense, we used do or does, but here there's only one word for every kind of subject. So subject plus did plus not plus V1. Again, remember I taught you there that the second form of the verb will always remain the same in the case of simple present. Here as well, it remains the same. You have to use the first form of the verb in the V2 form, do become did, but the second verb will remain in its first form itself. So don't convert the form of the second verb also, like he did not eat an apple is a correct sentence. If you write he did not eat an apple, that will be totally wrong. It's a blunder in terms of grammar structure. So always remember, when there are two verbs in a sentence, the first verb changes to the second form, the second verb remains the same. They did not play football is a correct sense. If you say they did not play football, it's wrong because do already become did. That is, do is the first verb and we change it into the second form. So play will remain the same. Now moving on to the third structure, that is the interrogative, is same as usual. The subject will follow the main verb like did, subject, V1 plus object. Did she eat an apple? Did they play football? Did you write the letter? Okay. But there is a WH question condition for this. If the question is starts with WH like who, what, where, when, in that case the structure will be WH question plus was or where. In case of singular it will be was, he, she, it will be was, and remaining will be were. So you have to ask the WH question at the first position. You have to take the WH question at the first position, then was or where, and then the subject. Who was the stranger at the door? It's out there. You can see the bracket. It's yeah. So if you say like उसने apple खा लिया, मैंने किताब पढ़ लिया. So whatever sentence you are speaking, and if it's ending with ya, ye, ye, you must understand that the sentence is in the simple past tense. Let's move on to the next slide. And we will discuss the second form of the past tense, that is the past continuous. The structure says subject plus was or were plus V1 plus ing, that is gerund, plus object if given. He was eating an apple. They were playing football. I discussed this to you just a moment before, that if the subject is he, she, it, or singular, you will use was, and for the rest, you will use were. If you're going to make the negative structure, it will be quite very easy. Whole of the structure remains the same. You just have to add not after was or were. If you are asked to make the interrogative structure, put the subject at the second place and was or were will come on the first place. The rest of the things remain the same. Was he eating an apple? Were they playing football? Okay, so I believe that these structures are quite easy to memorize and implement, but it needs a great deal of practice. Even if we know the structure, we are familiar with that, sometimes speaking fast or speaking without thinking can create a problem. We wanted to use some kind of tenses, but we will use some different kinds of tenses, and that will make the potential mistake if the exam is competitive. Like I mentioned about TOEFL, GRE, IELTS, and many different kinds of exams in which each and every criteria are properly evaluated, be it the lexical resources or the cohesion cohesiveness, or you're talking about the grammar range and accuracy. So you have to be very, very great in your grammar range and accuracy. For my Indian students, once again, just go on to the left hand side bracket part. If the sentence ends with rahata, rahithi, rahethe, then in that case you have to use the past continuous. He was eating an apple. वो apple खा रहा था, वो एप्पल खा रहा था, बच्चे खेल रहे थे, लड़की किताब पढ़ रही थी. So in this case, if you get the sound of raha tha, rahi thi, rahe the in the end of the sentence, there is no doubt you have to make the structure of the past continuous. Now let's move on to the past perfect, that is the third form of past tense. It just says subject plus had plus third form of the verb plus object if it's given. So in the perfect of present, we have option of has or have, and we can confuse maybe sometime. But in the case of past tense, there is no chance of any confusion or doubt. We have to use only had in any kind of subject. No need to differentiate between the subjects. Any subject come, simply use had. He had eaten an apple. They had played football. If you're asked to make the negative structure, everything remains the same. Not should be followed by had. And if you have to make the interrogative, subject will come at the second position and had will take the first position. So had he eaten an apple? Had they played football? So it's quite easy. Perfect tense of past is very easy to remember. We don't have to remember a lot of things. It's quite easy. And for my Indian students, you can see the Hindi words in the bracket. Chuka tha, chuki thi, chuke the. He had eaten an apple. वो सेब खा चुका था. बच्चे खेल चुके थे. लड़की लिख चुकी थी. So when it is saying a completeness of a verb which had happened in the past and it was totally completed. Now the last but not the least is past perfect continuous. The concept is same as the present perfect continuous. You have to look for the two words since and for. You have to look for the time duration. Only one change will be there. Has or have will be replaced by had. So now the structure says subject plus had plus be plus v1 plus ing plus since or for plus time. He had been cooking since 1 a.m. They had been playing for 2 hours. No need to get worried for any has or have concept here. Every subject will be followed up by had word. If you want to ask the make negative structure, you just put not word after had not been cooking since 1 a.m. They had not been playing for 2 hours. If you will be asked to make the interrogative structure, just put the subject at the second place and had at the first place. Rest of the things remains the same. Now, moving on to the future, but discussing about the future form tense, we will have a look at one of the exception case here as well. Sometimes we are so much confused about the sentence which is used in a simple past or it has to be used in the present perfect, because both gives the idea of completeness. Something which is done in the past is already completed, and something which is done just is also completed, but it lies in present perfect. Read the notes. The simple past describes a completed action, while the present perfect describes an action completed in the past. whose effects can still be felt in the present. So this is the main hit word. In both of the sense, the tense, be it the present perfect or simple past, in both of the sense, we are getting the meaning of completeness of the verb. The action is completed. The action is really completed. But if it is a simple past, it will be completed a much time before. Okay. But if it is the present perfect, it has completed in the past, no doubt. But the effects still remain in the present. Let's make it clear with the example. The teacher scolded the students. Okay, maybe yesterday she scolded. The student did not make the homework. She scolded. But now the teacher has asked the students to wear blazers in winter. So at present, she's giving lecture to the class and she's advising all the students that you have to wear the blazer. So she's ask the students to wear blazer, and the tense is present perfect. Even if it is completed in the past, effects still remain in the present. So we will use the teacher has asked the student to wear the blazer. The second condition for this confusion is use these common expressions of time with two tenses. For example, if you find the words like yesterday, the week before, last month, or any year like in 2020 or 2010, 2015, if you find these kinds of words, specifically these four words, use them in simple past. Okay. And if you find the words like already, just, yet, before, after, still, for, since, if you get these words, then you have to make the sentence in the present perfect. Let's make it clear with the help of example. The words written in the red color, I have gone to London in 2010. That's incorrect. If you're mentioning the year, it will never come in present perfect. It will never come in the present tense because it has happened in 2010. So that's why you have to use I went to London in 2010. So these are the two important things you have to keep in mind, that don't get confused by using the past tense or the present perfect tense. Both have the same meaning, both have the same sense of completeness, the completeness of the action, but still they are very much different. Now, moving on to the future tense, let's take the first form. That is simple future or future indefinite. Look onto the structure for the general one. It's subject plus shall or will plus V1 plus object. If I take the example, he will eat an apple, they shall play football. Note just like he, she, it, or any singular thing, it's quite advisable to use will. He will, she will, it will, and table will, chair will, like that. So our teacher had taught in our school that to make it convenient and easy, you can use. However, if you find some other grammar rule for this, you may choose to use that one. I'm not putting an emphasis that you must use this, but I'm giving you a convenient space that you can use these words, and you can use the word will with he, she, it, or singular, and with the other you can use shall. I'm still repeating it again that it's not a hard and fast rule to use will with he, she, it, or singular, but it's quite convenient and it's quite good to use these things. If you talk about the negative structure, everything remains the same. We just have to put the word not with shall or will. He will not eat an apple. They shall not play football. They shall not play football. And if you want to make the interrogative structure, put the subject on the second place. Shall and will become the first place. Now for my Indian students, once again, if you look onto the words in the bracket, it says ga, gi, ke. मैं खेलूंगा, वो पढ़ेगी, बच्चे लिखेंगे. Moving on to the second form, it's future continuous. And looking at the structure, subject plus will plus be. Okay, so in both of the tenses, the present and the past, we're not using be, right? But here we will be using subject plus be, subject plus will plus be plus gerund plus object. He will be eating an apple. I will be narrating the story. India will be winning the match. In the same way, like that, you can say a lot of things. Here we don't have any confusion of shall or will because the structure is saying only about the will. So you can easily and conveniently use the word will for any kind of subject. If you're going to ask the negative structure, just make the word not after will. So subject plus will plus not plus be plus gerund plus object. He will not be eating an apple. India will not be playing tomorrow. In the same way, you can make the interrogative also. Just put the subject at the second place. Will come to the first place. Rest of the things remains the same. Students out there in India, if you end up a Hindi sentence with raha hoga, rahi hogi, rahe honge, then that structure will be a future continuous. So with this, we come to the end of future continuous, and now we will look on to the future perfect. Future perfect, the general structure says subject plus will plus have plus verb 3 plus object. It's quite similar to the perfect present, right? We use the has or have. Here we don't have to use has or have, we have to use only have, and will be an extra part. So he will have eaten an apple. They will have played football. If you're going to make the negative for that, just add not after will, and it will become he will not have eaten an apple. They will not have played football. It's quite easy. You just have a glance to these kind of structures again, just make few sentences, and that will totally imprint it into your mind. And when you speak to your friend or speak to your colleagues or in your office or school or wherever in the exam, you will be quite sure about giving a very good answer in a much better and the correct form of grammar. Okay, then the last one is the interrogative. Just put the subject in the second place and use the word will. So will he have eaten an apple? Will they have played football? And for my students out there in India, you just see the words in the, actually it's a kind of a small mistake for that, I'm sorry for that. It should be chuka hoga, chuki hogi, chuke honge, not ya hoga. I did not notice that one, so don't follow that ya, just follow chuka hoga, chuki hogi, chuke honge. He will have eaten an apple. वो apple खा चुका होगा. I shall have finished my letter writing. मैं अपना letter लिख चुका हूँगा. Okay, so when you are saying something that in the future, if anything will be, if any action will come to its completeness, then you can use the future perfect and use the correct form of the structure. The last is future perfect continuous, which is again the same as we have seen in the present and the past. We have to go for two words since and for. We have to go for the time duration, and the structure will slightly change. It will just be having will. So subject plus will plus have been plus verb 1 plus ing plus since and for plus time. He will have been writing. Okay, so no confusion at all in all of the three cases of future perfect continuous, present perfect continuous, or past perfect continuous. You have to look for the words since, for, and time, and you have to put the structure in the correct manner. If it is in the present, you have to use has or have. If in the past, you have to use had, and if it is the future, you have to use will have. After that, been plus gerund plus since, for plus time remains the same. Now, moving on to the negative structure, you have to use not after will, and the sentence structure will remain the same as before, and it will become he. You have to use not after will. Rest of the things remains the same. He will not have been writing for 2 hours. They will not have been playing chess since 5 p.m. Okay. The last is the interrogative. Same as usual. You have to put the subject on the second place. Will come on the first place, and rest of the structure will remain the same. So will he have been writing for 2 hours? Will they have been playing chess since 5 p.m.? Now, with this, we come to the end of our today's lecture, in which we have seen 12 structures of 3 tenses. It's my request to everyone to make at least 5 sentences from each of the structure to make it perfect and make it concrete. If you have any doubts, you can put in the comment below, or you can drop me a mail. With this, we come to the end of today's video, and in the next video, we will come up with a new topic. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.